What is going on, everybody? My name is Dakota, and welcome back to Kota's Cologne. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video. Today is going to be more of kind of a vlog video, I guess you could call it. It is going to be fixing the lights in my cabinet here behind me. Over the course of the year, I've had a lot of people ask, like, kind of how my cabinet setup was, what kind they were, what the lights were, the shelves, and stuff like that. So I figured since I've got to rip all this out of the cabinet anyway, I'd go ahead and make just like a small video kind of talking about how the cabinets are set up, essentially. I thought it'd be a nice little change of pace, and I thought it'd be a fun little twist up. It's not going to be as near as much of a controlled environment as normal, but just like that, let's get into it. So I guess the first thing to touch on is obviously going to be the easiest. The cabinets themselves are just cheap, like China curio cabinets. I found both of them combined on Facebook Marketplace. I think I've got less than $100 in both of them. I think I paid like 30 for one and 50 for another. So yeah, honestly, it's really good storage. It makes it really clean, makes it really simple, and especially when you have a toddler running around and you've got a couple dogs. And for me, the biggest thing was it knocked down on dust. I hardly ever have any dust on any of the bottles now, and it just feels a little bit more controlled. Now, unfortunately, you still, you get fingerprints all over them, but if I was a better YouTuber, I would clean my bottles a little more often. So the other thing too that we can touch on real quick is going to be the light kit I'm using. This is just a cheap light kit I got off of Amazon. The other light kit was a cheapie I got from Walmart. I think this was $10 or $12, something like that. I think it covers 20 feet. I'm not 100% sure on the footage, but this was the exact same kit I used in this cabinet here, and I like it way more. The color spectrum is a little bit different. There's a few more colors to kind of pick from. I know for the most part in the videos I just use the one, but typically like around the holidays I'll start changing up the colors to the holidays and stuff like that. My daughter really likes them, so that's kind of what pushed me to go ahead and get like some syncable lights. She's 4. She's actually in the living room right now watching Bluey. I guarantee you at some point in this video she is going to be wiggling through this room somewhere, so there's a good chance there'll be a sighting of her somewhere in it. Also, before I forget, if people are interested in these lights or anything like that, I'll go ahead and link these in the description. The other thing that I'm going to link in the description is going to be these trays. I've had several people ask me about them as well. I think they're just like generic like cupcake risers or something like that. I got them off Amazon as well, but we can talk about those more here in a minute when we're getting everything out. So a small portion of the video is going to have to kind of be shot like this, just so that way I can go over some of the stuff that I've had questions about. I'll go ahead and start in this cabinet over here. So one of the main things that I've been asked is kind of how the setup and the flow of the fragrances work. And if I'm being honest, there's not really been much rhyme or reason. I really just try to keep like houses to themselves. Like if you look over here, these are all like Jean Paul Gaultier's, obviously except for this little guy laying in here. There's all the Mont Blancs here. All of the Camerals are back there. Strongers with U's. I try to keep obviously nothing but Prada and Nazaro here. I try to keep all the houses kind of pushed together. Like the Rabanne section here, the PDM section here, and some down there. There's all Versace there. You got some ATH, which I got a bunch over there too. So I got part of doing this. I'm going to redo it a little bit as well. And then I got this section of the cabinet almost never gets shown because it's so short. This is just my decant and overflow. This section is just absolutely blown out. I'm going to have to address this as well because I am running out of room. The unfortunate part about doing some of this stuff, especially trying to be a fragrance content creator, is just a shocking lack of room. Yes, honey. Hey, that's a fragrance. That's one of mommy's. But yeah, that's just some of the rhyme and the reason behind how the cabinets are set up, how I kind of keep the fragrances similar in house and stuff like that. And then, of course, my daughter heard me talking in here, so she just wanted to come in here and basically say hi. But now we're going to get to the part that I absolutely am not looking forward to whatsoever, is to put the new light kit in. I have to strip every single one of these fragrances out of here. I'm not going to bother showing me like moving all the fragrances stuff out. I'm not going to do a time lapse or anything like that because honestly, I feel like if it was something a little more in detail, in depth, like if I was building something, maybe, but for this, nah, probably not. So it took me about 15, 20 minutes or so to actually get all the fragrances out here and get them put on the table. it was a complete paranoia about dropping one, but also at what point do I need to have a conversation with myself and realize that I maybe just have too many? The unfortunate part about doing some of the fragrance YouTube things is you just wind up with a tremendous amount. All right, so I have to do a little bit of an overlay on this one. For some reason, my mic quit working. But basically, what I'm showing here is the way these come in. I had to drill a hole in the top of my cabinet because two cables run in instead of one. I did have to run them a little bit different. I was actually going to try to do a time lapse of me showing the installation of it, but it wasn't quite able to work the way I hoped. So I'll just use the main camera and kind of show y'all how it's coming in, because it comes in with two cables. So I just run them right to left, and then I'm able to push them across the top and gently push them down the side, kind of angled in toward the fragrances instead of just straight back. And just like that, it was only a few seconds for y'all. It was 20 minutes for me because ran into a few problems. But I got the new light kit installed. One of the things that I like more about this light kit compared to my other one is, I don't know if any of y'all has watched some of my incredibly old videos. There used to be a really, really dark spot right there in the middle of that cabinet. Well, because the way the lights come in on this one, it comes in two different areas. I was able to wrap them around and kind of have them meet in the middle there. So that way it really kind of pulled that together. So hopefully when I get all these fragrances back in here, it'll be much more aesthetically pleasing, and maybe the lights as a whole look a little bit better. I like that a lot more. The color is a little more hueish. It's got a little more of a blue to it. The temperature seems to be a little bit cooler, which obviously you can adjust all that, but just like the natural whites on this seems to be like more of like a whitish blue, and I feel like that color resonates better with a lot of the bottles that are going to be chilling in this cabinet. But just give me a few more seconds of your time and I'll be switching over here and I'll get these fragrances back in the cabinet. Real quick, I did want to go over these trays really fast. So like I said, these are just cheap Amazon trays. I think these are made for like cupcake or display or whatever. But the reason I like these specifically more than some of the other ones I've seen is that right there. It has that extra leg. Some of the original ones I had did not have this leg right here, and it would cause a little dip right here. And then these are a little bit thicker here. As far as the construction of them, they're just incredibly simple. It's all just a little kind of like a plug and play screw together thing. There's not anything that's too complicated about them. But as you can see here, these shelves are just wide enough that it'll hold the bottles well, and it's just enough room to kind of set comfortably back in here. I think these are 2 3/4 inches wide, if I do believe. You know, actually, I can show you with my Privé bottle here. I mean, as wide as the bottle is, it's, you know, there's more than enough room to set whatever kind of fragrance you would want on here. Because these are the ones that I set, like my Killians, my PDMs, stuff like that. And those bottles are a little fatter, a little more robust. So yeah, they work very well. And real quick, for anyone out there wondering what it is like to be trying to do this in a household, so you'll never hear me talk about panty dropper fragrances ever on this channel. I'm not the too biggest fan of that phrase, but here's the main reason why. Because every time you drop them, those come out. You wind up with a tiny little semen demon wearing pink clothes trying to tell you what to do and paint your toenails every day. I absolutely love her, but sometimes she can make my life a little bit difficult. You gonna say hi to everybody out there? And that's a friendly hello. Alrighty, so the final product is finally in, and I gotta say, it looks significantly better. That spot is much more lit now. Everything seems to be a little more like visually appealing. Let me flip y'all around, that way I can actually use the good camera, and then y'all can actually like maybe really see the difference. All right, so I mean, I think it just looks significantly better. It's definitely well more lit. The only thing I got to do now is I've got to kind of change up some of the fragrances. Speaking of which, I love these tiny little like mini bottles or whatever. I absolutely love those. I wish every company would make some of those. I'd buy all of them. But I was able to kind of flip around some of the fragrances just a little bit, not a lot, but enough to kind of clean it up, make it look a little bit more disorganized, because the way it is now, I just, especially this bottom one right here, I've just been throwing stuff in there. So I was able to kind of spread them out. I've got a few spots I can put some stuff here, but they're so small. I don't really know what I'd be able to get to fit there. But yeah, that is going to be a wrap for today. This is my first ever kind of vlog style video. I don't really see myself doing too many of these, if I'm being honest. But with some of the questions I've had on the channel, with some of the people just wanting to know kind of how everything looks, I thought this would be a perfect time to go ahead and make this video, kind of show the collection a little bit, kind of show the process and some of the other stuff like that. And on top of that, have my daughter just absolutely being a terror in the background of all of it. But if this is some of the content y'all would be interested in, like I said, I don't really think I'll do a whole lot of these, but if y'all wanted me to maybe go through the other cabinet, or maybe goes through some of like my wife's perfumes or stuff like that, because like I said, she's very much into that just as well as I am. Just let me know down in the comments and I might be able to make something happen with that. Sorry for the kind of shakiness of the camera a little bit. I'm kind of just freehanding all this. I tried using the tripod. It didn't really work out too well. But yeah, this video took way longer than I thought it would. I greatly underestimated how long it would take me to clear out the cabinet, get the lights put in and everything else. Light kit was a little bit weird. Had to make a few small modifications to it, but I'm hoping it'll look good. I'll probably put up a side-by-side of the old one with the new one, kind of see if you can really tell the differences or not, or see if maybe I just kind of did all this for nothing. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If y'all stuck around this long, absolutely thank you. And as we like to do, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for subscribing, for sticking around, staying tuned. Listen to me yap about how stuff smells, or in this case, about how stuff looks. Thanks for supporting the channel and everything in between. And we will see all you fragrance friends next time.